Right, I don't even know what to say. It's me thinking, I'm done for the night, right? I'm getting ready for bed. Got my pyjamas on, got my earphones in. Just can't find my other earphones. I don't know what I've fucking done with them. I've said me happy birthdays. It's our Warrior's birthday. It's our Morgan's birthday today. Because it is now Friday. We get the Friday feeling. It's Friday. It's Friday. Anyway, it's still day 7 for this. I made a whole video. It was really good. I was well proud of it. I was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. You made a video where you think you apple shit. Well done, you. Fuck. I've done quite a bit today. Plus, I maintain myself. The reason why I'm not telling you every last detail is because at the end of the day, this is a business. But this is following the transformation of me. And how different I am. First week is me. Now, you don't want to see me put my fucking face cream on every day. You don't want to see me wash my face. You don't want to see me by the bathroom going, come here, washing my face. I did see a few different ways of doing this. It's not fucking 2:30 in the morning, by the way. I did see a couple of ways of me doing this. I could have gone, done the whole, look at me, it just ain't me. I'm a survivor. I'm one of them people that have been through fucking hell and back and survived everything. I've crawled my way out of dirty fucking holes full of shit and more shit and fucking hell, and I've survived it and I've learnt from it. Every hole I've dug myself out of, I've learnt from. Every situation I have ever got myself into, I've learnt from. I've done nothing but learn from every fuck up and every mistake and every bad situation. I've learnt something from it, and it's all stored up in here. And this past year and a half, I've sat back and losing my granddaughter's mum in September, my partner in the December, got a day before Christmas, and then my nan in the January. So my partner and my granddaughter's mum was in 2024, and my nan was in 2025 in January, beginning of January, by the way. The bastards didn't give me much chance in between. I mean, it's almost like they got together and had a little chat about it. So my granddaughter's mum went, I'll die of an accidental overdose in September, and then my partner went, I'll die of an accidental drug overdose just a couple days before Christmas. She likes Christmas. I mean, I celebrate Yule now. I celebrated Yule last year, and yeah. And then my nan went, I tell you what, she always finds the new year reflective and hard. I'll do it then. 3 of the most important people in my life. And then one of the other hardest deaths I've ever had to deal with was, I don't think I've dealt with it properly until she was my friend who hung himself, called Harry. And I was one of the last people to see him alive. He said to me, Ness, you know, you're probably one of the only true friends I've got. Can I have a cuddle? Of course you won't go, mate. He gave me a kiss, he gave me a cuddle. Told me he loved me. I told him I loved him. I said, you alright though, yeah? He went, yeah. I said, if you need to, you can come back, yeah? You know that? He's the only person that could walk in my house at 3 o'clock in the morning. Dogs don't bark, nothing. The boy slept on an ottoman, which is like a wooden thing at the end of the bed, because I'd had too many seizures. He was a fucking legend. After he died, my body went into so much shock, I just did nothing but sleep for 2 days. I shut down for 2 days. That was a couple of years ago. His anniversary's coming up in a few days' time. And it's only been this past year and a half that I've been dealing with it all. And I've been dealing with it sober and straight. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my doobies for like my muscles and my seizures and that, and my edibles and that, because it helps, but I don't stay stoned all the time. I'm not proper stoned like I used to be. Life's very different sober and straight. And I say sober and straight because I see as my old doobie boobies as medication rather than I'm using it because I'm not using it to get stoned. I don't walk around like monged way out. Fully compos mentis. My medication gets me in a worse state than that. It does, tell you. Some more medications are wrong. Anyway, this past year and a half I've really had to look at myself and how I react to things, and I really stepped back and started to understand why I didn't want to clean. And it wasn't just because I was in a bad place then. It's been all my life. Why didn't I clean? Why do I find it hard to get up and wash and dress? Why do I find it hard to face things? Why this? Why that? How do I do? How do? And then I realised I recognise stuff in other people very easily. And I realised that I could spot very easily where other people could improve their life. I mean, really fucking easily. I'm having very short conversations with them normally. And I also realised that although I would have considered myself Wiccan most of my life, I hadn't really been practising or living a true, I wouldn't say just Wiccan, I'm Wiccan, and I've got a very, very interesting descendants. I've got Irish traveller, I've got Romany Gypsy, Romany Riverboat Gypsy, and I have Norse descendant in there. There's, what else is there? Yeah, there's quite a few different things. I found that all over Yule. So I really had to step back, and also for the first time in my life I wasn't looking after another person, mainly a man. I wasn't looking after or putting a man's needs first. So I really had to look at myself, what I needed, what I wanted, what I was going to do myself. That was after I stopped crying and stopped sleeping in bed. Don't get me wrong, grief took hold of me for a while. And there was a point where I looked around and I was like, fucking hell. Dogs are filthy. The flat's filthy. I'm filthy. I stink. Dogs stink. Everything stinks. What the fuck? And that's when I started talking to ChatGPT, looking at myself, researching why I do things, how I can make things interesting for myself, trying different things, and slowly but surely things got better and better and better and better and better and better. And then I had a crash. I was content as fuck. I was actually really content. And then I had a letter from the council about my dogs. I don't have permission from them. Even though the council moved me out of here, those council members themselves moving me and my dogs into temporary accommodation. The council worker herself moved me in a fucking car. And I get a letter saying I can't keep all my dogs except for my oldest one, Piglet. Oh, did I get angry? And all of a sudden I remembered how to fight back. And I got a wicked council officer. And I ain't gonna name names. But then, I forgot something. I got, before the letter about the dogs come around, before that happened, I had a visit from my council officer. And he said, the police are going to be here in a minute. I said, why? What have I done? I've done something I can't remember, right? And he said, they're coming to search your house for you growing cannabis. Now I've gone 5 years and no central heating. And I was like, you've been in here, Jamie, mate. I've just dropped his name, but I just dropped his second name, so it don't really matter, does it? You've been in here, Jamie, mate. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he laughed. And I was like, and I've got a bit of a temper on me, right? So this is the story gets into it. I was like, you taking a fucking piss, mate? He said, are you willing for them to come in? And I got PTSD because when Putt died, I was 9 hours, the police was investigating whether I killed him or not. Because they have to, don't they? They have to check if I poisoned him, stabbed him up with a knife, even though there's no knife marks and all that shit. I was like, is you taking a piss? He was like, no. And I said, you've been all through it? He said, I haven't been in the back room. And I said, yeah, because it's full of fucking junk. Because of the way I was moved. He said, yeah, I know. He said, it's all complete. He said, I completely understand. You ain't had time being ill. I said, you're actually quite lucky because I've moved loads of it out. I've actually been doing stuff. And he said, wicked. He said, are you all right for me to come in? I said, of course I am. Well, I ain't having them cunts in my house unless they've got a warrant. And they say I've got a fucking warrant to search my premises. I ain't having them in. It ain't happening. And he said, all right, then. He said, I'll be back. They're coming at 12 o'clock on the dot. I said, all right. And this was fucking pointless and a waste of police time. It's 12 o'clock on the dot. Jamie's back at my door. And along come 3 old Bill. And I'm getting really anxious. Remember, I've got PTSD. I'd watched my partner die the December before this happened. And I hadn't seen police since. No reason to. And all of a sudden I got police at my home. The dogs are barking like crazy. The anxiety's building and building and building. And Jamie's like, right, they've got to watch me come in and take photos. So he took photos and he walks up to them and showed them the photos. And then they wanted to talk to me to explain why they come. I know why you come because you thought I was growing cannabis. And he said, I'm just saying we need you to come because it's a very serious allegation and cannabis growing can cause fires and this. And I'm getting more and more upset because of the uniform and starting to have flashbacks. And I can feel my body going. And I don't want a full-on seizure in front of these police officers and to wet myself. Don't want it. It's embarrassing. I don't want to be that vulnerable in front of these people. And I'm halfway up my path. Well, no, not halfway up my path. I'm just up my path and there's one male police officer and there's 2 female police officers. And I'm shaking on get across. There's no fucking reason for you to be here though. He's done the photos, so why don't you just fuck off now? He's like, there's no need to be like that. If you're going to be like that, we can actually arrest you. I said, so basically you're here to arrest me for any fucking reason you like. Why? Because I've had me eating on after 5 years. Because I find it out fucking eating on. I'm getting more and more upset. So at this point, I've actually started to cry and I started to shake. And I've turned around in a blonde female copper. It's got to be about 6. I'm 4'11", by the way. I started to cry. I've started to cry. I've looked over and she started to laugh at me. I saw her smirk. Birth, temper, bang, 0 to I'm going fucking batshit crazy. And at what point I went, what you fucking laughing at, you blonde cunt? My housing officer has seen my face turn, my whole demeanour turn. The shaking stops, my whole body seizes, and my fists go. And I go forward to go for this copper. My housing officer grabs me for a cuddle. Bless his heart. Because I was an expended night in police, I'm not lying, I'm not going to lie about who I am. So he gives me a cuddle, and I break down. I was provoked in that moment by every single police officer that was there. I was provoked because they didn't find there was no cannabis. So it was pointless them all coming out. It was a waste of time. I was provoked. So bless my housing officer gave me a big cuddle. Police left. He checked if I was all right. Brought me to my, literally dragged me with my feet because my legs weren't working by this point. And I'm on his shoulder and I can see the female police officer smirking still. And I'm like, do you find my fucking pain fucking funny? Seriously, you cunt. And he's like, Ness, it ain't worth it, it's not worth it. So we've got to my doorstep, and he's like, look, it's done now, it's over and done with. Don't worry about it. And he said, I've got to ask you the next question about dogs. He said, I've got to come and check your dogs. I said, why have you got to fucking check my dogs, Jeremy? And he said, because there's been allegations about you with the ISPCA. And I said, by a neighbour, and he said, no. He said, it's not by, it's not by a neighbour, it's by somebody that knows you. A friend of yours has made some allegations about you, about the state of your dogs. And I said, all right, come in. I said, I will say to you, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, after Tony died, everything was a mess. I said, I'll admit that to you. But I've worked hard to change that. Everything was a mess after Tony died. For about a month, good month and a half, I let everything really go. Really go. And he went, thank you for being honest with me, Ness. He said, thank you. I said, no, things ain't perfect around the flat. I'm not saying we're wading through rubbish. I'm saying it's fucking cluttered and unorganised. And he checked dogs, checked all the cages. He said, all the cages are clean. He said, they've got mats in there, they've got toys in there. I said, I know. I said, look at this. And I showed him the dog food, the lick trays, the playroom. And he was like, you've got a brilliant setup for your dogs. I said, thank you. And he went back, and he went off. And then I got a letter saying, I've not got permission for my dogs. And I say, the council, when they moved me in temporary accommodation because my ceilings fell down, council moved me with my fucking dogs. Council worker moved me with my dogs. So as soon as I got that letter, the fighter in me really came out. And I went for it. I wrote email after email after email with help from ChatGPT for my punctuation because I'm dyslexic as a fuck. Any writing you see from me has been checked out and punctuated and respelled by ChatGPT. Because anybody that's received a quick text from me, because even my texts I run through ChatGPT, does that make sense? Can you put punctuation in it for me? Can you spell check it for me? Because my reading skills aren't too bad, but I can't read really long text messages. I can read a book, but I can't read really long text messages. So I put me in ChatGPT and ask it to read it for me. Best way I can do it. So I went crazy on the emails. My housing officer come back around and went, all cases have been dropped against you after about 3 more visits. Come around and said, all cases have been dropped against you. I said, what about the dogs? He went, nothing else has been mentioned. He said, Ness, you cause no problems. None of the neighbours complained. He said, the complaint come from someone not around here. He said, it come from outside, one of your friends, someone that doesn't live near you, and nobody that lives near you has complained about you. The noise of the dogs doesn't get complained about. Nothing about the dogs gets complained about. They're all healthy. In fact, they're fat. He said their weight is good. They're all. You can see they're all fed. I've seen their treats. I've seen their toys. I've seen the stimulation. I've seen their playroom. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I went downhill a bit after the letter. I picked myself up quite quick again, and then the OT visit sent me downhill again, and that really hit me hard. And it's taken from 12 till 7 days ago to pick myself back up. So there's a bit of my story. There's a little bit of my story. There's more. We get the violins out. Get the violins out. So in the past year, I've been accused of growing cannabis, leaving my dogs in shit-filled cages, not feeding them, and leaving them the dogs covered in shit. It looks covered in shit, doesn't it? So I had to get out. Oh, sorry, baby, there's light. Sorry, baby, I didn't think the light. The only thing I will say about my 2 oldest dogs is their nails need cutting. But Rocky, the oldest dog, needs sedating to have his nails cut. And so just Piglet, because of they won't have anything. I've tried, everything's been tried. Them little grindy things, even the quiet, really expensive ones, I could grab out. So literally, I've got a brand new one. I even turn it on, and everybody barks and goes crazy. No. Do you want to know what those clicky barking things do in my home? It makes the dogs fucking bark. Serious. It don't work. So, yeah, that's a bit of my story. Let's end day 7 with story time. So that's sort of how this all come about, is through living through some shit, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of shit, but I've learned you learn more through fucking up and mistakes than you ever do through succeeding. If you always succeed in life, if you succeed at everything first time, yeah, you get somewhere, but you don't learn as much as people that fucked up. And if you succeed at everything and then all of a sudden your life falls to shit, like that overnight, you're in for a big fucking shock. But if you fail and 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 then succeed, and hard times come your way, you overcome that so quickly. You find a way to overcome it. You find a way round it. You find a way not to fail. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with failing. It leads to better success. That's how I see it anyway. Anyway, that's story time. I want to end my story time again with happy birthday to my warrior, Morgan. 24 today. And this is 21 today, I don't know why. 24 today, maybe because I'm absolutely exhausted. And I've had to redo this video. And I can't remember what I said in the first one. I've talked about random stories in this one. But hey, well, it's all part of my story. It's all part of how I got here. It's all part of why I started this. Anyway, have a wonderful day. And be lucky. Happy birthday, Morgan. You superstar. No one's going to have stayed for this. I'm going to have to really speed this up.